In a world dominated by noise, distraction, and the constant pull of external influence, mastering one's inner power is no longer a luxury, it is a necessity. Stoicism, the ancient philosophy practiced by thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, provides a timeless framework for cultivating resilience, clarity, and self-mastery. The essence of Stoicism is understanding that while we cannot control the external world, we have absolute command over our perceptions, actions, and judgments. This realization is the cornerstone of inner power. The Stoic approach is not theoretical, it is deeply practical. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, faced insurmountable pressure, political intrigue, and personal loss, yet he remained steadfast by internalizing Stoic principles. Seneca, in the midst of wealth, fame, and societal expectation, emphasized tranquility, virtue, and the disciplined mind as the foundation of personal strength. Epictetus, a former slave, demonstrated that freedom begins within, not in external circumstances. Mastering inner power requires more than occasional reflection. It demands consistent practice, deliberate action, and disciplined thought. Every Stoic secret reinforces one central truth: the external world may challenge, frustrate, and provoke. The mind can remain unshaken. By understanding these principles, one can transform fear into courage, distraction into focus, and uncertainty into purpose. This documentary explores 13 Stoic secrets for mastering inner power, each designed to equip you with tools to navigate modern life with calm, clarity, and confidence. From detachment from validation to disciplined routines, from emotional sovereignty to the cultivation of gratitude, these lessons are both timeless and highly relevant. They will guide you in transforming adversity into opportunity, external noise into internal clarity, and everyday life into a stage for personal mastery. As we move through each lesson, you will gain practical strategies, historical insights, and real-life applications. Each secret has been expanded to show not only its philosophical depth, but also how it can be implemented in your daily life to produce tangible results. The journey toward mastering inner power is continuous, demanding both reflection and action, but it is profoundly rewarding. By embracing these Stoic secrets, you position yourself to live deliberately, act with integrity, and thrive regardless of life's uncertainties. Lesson 1: Detachment from external validation. One of the foundational secrets of Stoicism is the practice of detachment from external validation. In the modern world, people are conditioned to seek approval, recognition. Social media, workplace hierarchies, and social circles constantly reinforce this dependence. Stoicism, however, teaches that such dependence weakens the mind and distracts from true inner power. Epictetus famously stated, "It is not what happens to you, how you react to it that matters." Approval, praise, or criticism are external forces, often unpredictable and outside your control. When you anchor your sense of worth in them, you surrender your freedom and stability to the whims of others. Detachment from validation is not indifference, it is the cultivation of internal assurance, rooted in virtue, effort, and self-awareness. Historically, Marcus Aurelius, despite ruling an empire, constantly reminded himself that his value did not depend on public opinion. Seneca emphasized that the wise person seeks neither applause nor blame, only adherence to moral and rational principles. For the Stoic woman or man, the measure of success lies not in recognition, but in consistent action aligned with virtue. In practical terms, detachment manifests in resisting the urge to constantly check social media feedback, refraining from over-explaining actions, and evaluating personal decisions against internal standards rather than popular sentiment. A woman pursuing her goals, for instance, may encounter criticism from peers or family. By measuring her actions against principles rather than opinions, she preserves focus and confidence. Real-life applications include journaling accomplishments privately, focusing on mastery rather than visibility, practicing mindfulness to center the mind on intrinsic values, Actionable strategies: reflect daily on 3 actions aligned with personal values, limit exposure to external opinions that distract from purpose, and consciously replace. How will others see this? With, does this reflect my values? Detachment from validation fosters emotional resilience. A person becomes less reactive, more deliberate, and increasingly autonomous. Inner power emerges from self-reliance rather than dependence on others' fleeting approval. By cultivating this secret, you lay the foundation for a life guided by clarity and unshakable confidence. Lesson 2: Self-awareness, understanding your mind and emotions. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of inner power. Stoicism emphasizes that the mind is the primary tool for navigating life's challenges. Without understanding your thoughts, emotions, and impulses, you remain a passive participant in your own life. The Stoic female and male mind alike thrives on clarity, knowing what drives reactions, desires, and fears. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, constantly reflected on his judgments and reactions, reminding himself that emotion untempered by reason is the root of chaos. Epictetus taught that external events are neutral; it is our interpretation that shapes our experience. Self-awareness allows you to intercept destructive thought patterns before they dictate behavior. Modern applications involve emotional intelligence, mindfulness, and reflection. In professional environments, understanding emotional triggers allows for calm negotiation and effective leadership. In personal life, recognizing stress patterns or reactive tendencies creates opportunities for intentional response rather than impulsive action. Real life example: a woman notices rising frustration during a team project. By understanding that her stress stems from perfectionist tendencies rather than the project itself, she can consciously respond with patience, clear communication, and strategic action. Journaling or daily reflection provides insight into recurring patterns, allowing for proactive adjustments. Actionable insights: practice daily journaling focused on thoughts, emotions, and triggers before reacting to emotionally charged situations to assess perspective. Use reflection to identify patterns and create intentional behavioral responses. Awareness transforms the mind from a reactive instrument to a deliberate tool. It fosters calm, clarity, and mastery over emotions, an essential step toward true inner power. Lesson 3: Emotional sovereignty, mastery over feelings. Emotional sovereignty is the ability to remain undisturbed by external events. It is not suppression of feelings, but mastery over them. Stoicism asserts that emotions should serve reason, not dictate it. Marcus Aurelius, amid political upheaval and personal loss, exemplified emotional control by anchoring his actions in principle rather than passion. Epictetus taught that our judgments about events, not the events themselves, generate emotional responses. By recognizing this, Stoic develops the ability to maintain composure, even when faced with provocation, disappointment, or chaos. Emotional sovereignty is the shield protecting inner power from volatility. Modern life presents endless challenges: social pressure, workplace stress, family conflict, global crisis. Cultivating emotional sovereignty allows individuals to respond rather than react, making decisions grounded in rationality and aligned with long-term goals. Real life scenario: a woman receives harsh criticism from a colleague. Instead of reacting defensively, she reflects on the feedback, distinguishes constructive points from irrelevant commentary, and responds with composure. This approach not only preserves inner calm, but also enhances professional credibility. Actionable insights: recognize triggers and consciously separate fact from interpretation. Implement breathing techniques and mindfulness to regain composure. Reflect on the transient nature of challenges, reinforcing long-term perspective. Mastering emotions ensures that your inner power is resilient, unshaken by external turmoil, capable of sustained clarity and influence. Lesson 4: Practicing gratitude, turning challenges into appreciation. Gratitude is more than a polite acknowledgement of what is good in life. In Stoicism, it is a strategic practice that transforms perception and strengthens inner power. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that every difficulty presented an opportunity to exercise virtue. He noted that life's hardships were not merely obstacles, but chances to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Seneca similarly emphasized that fortune is a matter of perspective. We may not control circumstances, but we can control how we interpret them. By adopting gratitude, even for seemingly negative events, we shift the focus from loss and frustration to learning and opportunity. Gratitude anchors the mind, preventing it from being swept away by emotions, envy, or despair. In the modern context, gratitude can mitigate stress, improve mental clarity, and enhance emotional resilience. A professional facing a project failure might choose to see it as an opportunity for learning and growth rather than a personal defeat. This reframing creates a sense of control and stability, key components of inner power. Real life example. A woman dealing with a demanding family situation focuses on gratitude for the lessons it teaches about patience, empathy, and resilience. She may maintain a daily journal noting 3 challenging events and what each taught her. Over time, this practice rewires the mind to focus on what is valuable rather than what is frustrating. Actionable insights. Maintain a daily gratitude journal with both small and large events. Reflect on how challenges can develop character, resilience, or insight. Verbally express appreciation to others, reinforcing a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. By practicing gratitude consistently, inner power is strengthened because the mind is no longer enslaved by frustration or external circumstances. It becomes proactive, grounded, and centered on personal growth. Lesson 3: Mindful presence, focusing on the present moment. A critical Stoic secret is the cultivation of presence. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the present moment is all we truly have, and that dwelling excessively on past regrets or future anxieties undermines effectiveness and peace of mind. The Stoics believed that the mind should anchor itself in the now, applying energy and attention where it can have the greatest impact. Epictetus argued that worry about events outside our control is irrational. Only our actions, judgments, and responses are fully within our sphere of influence. Mindful presence, therefore, is a practical tool for maintaining calm, clarity, and personal mastery. In the modern era, distraction is rampant. Smartphones, social media, constant notifications, and multitasking fragment attention. Mindful presence allows individuals to reclaim focus, make deliberate choices, and respond effectively to circumstances rather than reacting impulsively. Real life example. A woman preparing for an important presentation uses a pre-performance ritual of deep breathing and mental rehearsal to center herself. Focusing entirely on the immediate task, she performs with clarity and confidence, undistracted by hypothetical outcomes or past mistakes. Actionable insights and daily meditation or focused breathing exercises to anchor attention. Before responding to stressful events, pause and center awareness on the present. Create routines to limit multitasking, reinforcing attention to one task at a time. By practicing mindful presence, individuals cultivate an internal environment of focus and calm, allowing decisions and actions to align with values and objectives, reinforcing inner power. Lesson 6: Deliberate action, acting with purpose. Stoicism emphasizes that inner power is useless without deliberate action. Knowledge, reflection, and virtue require application to affect outcomes. Marcus Aurelius often meditated on the importance of purposeful deeds rather than idle contemplation. Thinking without action breeds stagnation, while action without reflection invites chaos. Seneca instructed that we should not simply talk about virtue, but live it. Every decision, interaction, and task is an opportunity to practice discipline, integrity, and focused intention. Deliberate action ensures that the mind is not passive, an agent of meaningful change. Modern life often tempts procrastination, overthinking, and indecision. Deliberate action counters this by anchoring thoughts in tangible, meaningful steps. For example, instead of lamenting economic or professional uncertainties, individuals can set clear, achievable goals, take consistent steps, and measure progress. Real life example: a woman seeking career growth maps actionable steps, networking, skill acquisition, and structured time for strategic projects. Each step is intentional, not reactive, aligning with long-term vision and values. Actionable insights: set clear, actionable goals aligned with personal values. Complex tasks into focused steps executed deliberately. Reflect periodically on actions to ensure alignment with purpose, adjusting as necessary. Deliberate action bridges philosophy and life, translating internal clarity into measurable progress. Inner power is magnified when thought and action operate in harmony. Lessons 7 and resilience in adversity, using challenges to strengthen character. Stoics viewed adversity not as misfortune, but as a training ground for virtue. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly emphasized that obstacles are opportunities to practice patience, courage, and discipline. The philosophy teaches that life's difficulties are neither inherently good nor bad. Their value lies in how we respond. Epictetus argued that external events cannot harm the wise person, only their judgments of those events can. Resilience arises from internalizing this distinction. The mind remains firm even when circumstances are challenging, because strength comes from within. Modern applications include coping with workplace stress, personal loss, social pressures. Resilience allows individuals to face challenges without panic, despair, or reckless behavior. By anticipating difficulties, reflecting on past experiences, and embracing discomfort as part of growth, people strengthen emotional and mental fortitude. Real life example: a woman who loses a job reframes the event as a chance to explore new opportunities, upskill, and redefine career goals. Rather than succumbing to fear or blame, she approaches the situation with strategy and composure. Actionable insights: reflect on past challenges and lessons learned to build confidence for future trials. Develop contingency plans to navigate potential obstacles deliberately. View setbacks as practice in patience, judgment, and emotional regulation. Through resilience, the mind becomes unshakable, and inner power is reinforced by an ability to turn adversity into opportunity. Lesson 8: self-discipline, the foundation of inner control. Self-discipline is a recurring theme in Stoic philosophy. Without it, knowledge, insight, and intention cannot manifest into sustained power. Marcus Aurelius consistently wrote about restraining impulses and maintaining control over desires, illustrating that mastery over oneself is the root of freedom. Seneca emphasized moderation, warning against indulgence in pleasure or unbridled emotion. By cultivating discipline, the Stoic creates a life guided by reason rather than fleeting impulses, ensuring that external influences cannot dictate internal peace. Modern life constantly tests discipline. Diet, work, digital distractions, and emotional reactivity challenge the mind. The disciplined individual maintains focus on priorities, resists temptations that undermine goals, and executes routines that reinforce stability. Real life example: a woman committed to personal growth designs a daily routine incorporating meditation, exercise, and structured work sessions. Discipline ensures consistency, preventing distractions or laziness from compromising objectives. Actionable insights: establish routines to anchor habits aligned with values. Set boundaries around distractions, including social media and unnecessary commitments. Monitor impulses and practice conscious restraint in decision-making. Discipline amplifies inner power by creating a mind and body aligned with purpose, resilient against chaos and external pressures. Lesson 19: purpose-driven living. Aligning actions with core values, Stoicism teaches that inner power arises from clarity of purpose. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself to act according to nature and reason, rather than whim or fear. Purpose gives life direction, providing an internal compass that guides decisions even amidst uncertainty. Epictetus emphasized that living in accordance with one's values is the highest good. When actions reflect principles rather than transient desires, confidence and inner strength naturally follow. Modern life, often fragmented and distraction-heavy, makes purpose essential to prevent drift and indecision. Real-life example: a woman passionate about helping communities focuses her career volunteering and personal development on meaningful impact. This clarity transforms every decision, allowing her to act with confidence and resilience. Actionable insights: define personal core values and revisit them regularly. Evaluate decisions through the lens of alignment with purpose. Create long-term goals reflecting these values to maintain focus amidst distractions. Purpose-driven living creates an inner anchor, ensuring that external pressures do not divert attention from meaningful action, reinforcing inner mastery. Lesson turned and reflection and journaling. Daily practices for continuous growth. Reflection and journaling are powerful Stoic tools to internalize lessons, analyze behavior, and reinforce inner power. Marcus Aurelius' Meditations is itself a journal, a chronicle of thought, growth, and philosophical discipline. Journaling helps process experiences, clarify priorities, reinforce intentional living. Seneca advocated nightly reflection, evaluating actions, failures, and achievements. This introspection cultivates self-awareness, ability, and long-term growth. Reflection allows patterns to emerge, enabling proactive adjustment rather than reactive behavior. Modern applications include tracking progress toward goals, managing emotions, and analyzing decision-making patterns. Journaling fosters clarity, reduces stress, strengthens self-mastery. Real-life example: a woman concludes each day by noting 3 successes, 3 challenges, and 3 lessons learned. This habit enhances awareness, reinforces positive behaviors, and highlights areas for improvement.